Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to my channel. Today I have something fun for you guys. I have Stonehenge black watercolor paper. So it's 140 pounds, 100% cotton, cold press watercolor paper, but it's black. And I did some playing with this on something you'll see later, but I had a scrap beside me and my white gouache and I was like, ooh, I wonder how it shows up. So I did some samples here, and this is just the same M-gram wash, or gouache, washed out a little bit more in each one to get the different shades. And then I did some writing with my, what is it called? What is it called, you guys? Oh, with my Posca marker, just to see how that worked. My gel pens died. I don't know if they're actually dead or they're just dead that they wouldn't work on this. And I did Faber-Castell, Luminance, and then my Conti pencils, just to see how the different white things worked. I've pulled out Simon Says stamp. This is the Delicate Flower stamp set, so we're going to stamp some of these and emboss them in white. Then we're going to paint them in white on black paper and see how it turns out. So I'm going to put you guys on fast forwards and do a little voiceover, and we will go from there. Okay, so I started off by pulling out my anti-static tool. It's the EK Success one. And just putting a bunch of it on the paper and using a bigger paintbrush to mesh it around, just because I wanted it done fast. I'm going to show you guys the start here, so I'm just going to stamp this in my Versamark ink and use some Hero Arts white embossing powder and emboss that. Now I'm going to stamp and mask all of these and emboss in two different corners off screen. I didn't record this entire card, even with only recording about half of it. I cut some out. I had like 2 hours of footage. It's lots of layers of white gouache. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. So here I have just a little ceramic dish I picked up at Dollarama here in Canada. They come like 4 in a pack. Love them. I have a couple sets. Added some water to it to create what I thought I wanted for a consistency in the paint. I wanted it thick and I wanted to be able to wash it out, and then I wanted some thinner stuff. So I just added water and played with it, and I'm starting darker in where the shadows would be, and I'm lightening it up as we come out. And I'm just going to take my time and go entirely around the image with this. I had so much fun with this card. It turned out absolutely beautiful. I'm over the moon with it, and I need to get some more gouache because now I have a problem. But, so you can see how I'm putting it in darker at the bottom and blending it out to get lighter. I'll go through and I'll put an entire coat on this whole card, and then I'll go in with a little bit of a thicker mixture and make it a little more white in where the shadows are, which seems backwards, but it works in the card. As for this paper was super fun. I was really nervous about the idea of black watercolor paper. I was like, most of my watercolors are transparent. They're not going to show up. Probably have to use gouache or some sort of a metallic paint. Don't own any gouache aside from my one tube of white that I use for highlights and things in my watercolors and all my Copic coloring. So let's try it, I guess. So I cut it out and did that stamping, and it handled the water fantastic. It didn't buckle a whole lot. I just have it taped down to my Epicurean board there, and I had no problems with it lifting itself off. It dried wonderfully. The gouache moved like I expected it to. I was just really, really happy with the paper, and I wasn't sure I was going to be. If you do want to play with something new and you think this is exciting, definitely pick up a pad. I can't remember what I paid for it here up in Canada. I picked it up at Frame Masters in Regina. But it can't be any more expensive than the Arches and all that kind of stuff that I buy all the time anyway. And I'm not going to go through it super fast, so I thought it was a fun little something new to play with and kind of get me excited and just do something different for a change as opposed to on white paper. So now I'm going back through and I'm just putting another coat of white in where the shadows would be, and I'm still blending that up into the rest of it, but it's just going to make those darker, what would be the shadowed points, a little more white, which still gives you the look of a shadow almost. I think that's how I want to explain it. I'm really happy with it. I'd like to try it again and do it the other way around, where the ends of the petals are the whitest and it fades into the lighter color on the inside. I'm not sure if I'd record it or I'd just post it on my blog. If you guys would be interested in seeing the opposite, definitely let me know down below, and then I will record it when I do it. That's no problem. So we're just blending those out. Like I said, this really consisted of, you know, stamping and embossing, which I had in my room, and black watercolor paper and a white tube of gouache and a stamp set that I've had for a while now. So it was fun to use a bunch of supplies that I had in with something new to me that I've just been kind of nervous about using and have had kicking around in the basement here. My craft room's in the basement for a while now. But we're getting close to the end. This one was super fun, you guys. I'm so happy with the way this card turned out. I will have links to the watercolor paper, the gouache I use, which is M grams titanium white. You could use Winsor & Newton, whatever you got on hand. This is just the one that I have. And a paintbrush. It was nothing like super product intensive. You can use a ton of stuff you have on you. If you don't have, you know, the black watercolor paper and white gouache, order those two things and give it a shot. I think it was super fun. And it's just mindless. I really enjoy sitting and painting flowers and just kind of getting out of my head, and I have a blast with this kind of stuff. I enjoy sitting around, you know, for 2.5 hours and painting something and just seeing how it ends up in the end. Now, as for tips and tricks and stuff in doing it, I definitely liked having that entire little dish of white. I could mix some thicker to get more opacity or less opacity. I didn't have to worry about it mixing in and grabbing other colors out of my other palettes and making it have like a pink hue or anything like that. Although if that's what you're after, definitely drop a little bit of red into your white gouache and give yourself pink. But I wanted that stark white color, so having this separate container and making sure that my water was clean when I started and I only used that water for the white definitely kept everything non-contaminated and not changing colors on me so that it didn't do anything funny that I wasn't expecting. And we're just carrying on, like I said, I'm just building up the layers and building up the difference in color to get me the depth in the flowers that I'm after. This one was a blast. I don't know what else to say. This card was super simple in concept. It's super simple in execution. It just takes a lot of time. It's a blast to play with. And if you guys do anything like this, I would love for you to tag me on Instagram. I will have my Instagram handle in the description box below as well. Like I said, all the products I used, I'm just going in and adding a few little white dots of gouache outside of the image just to give it a little bit of extra interest. And that's it. We're going to put it on an A2 size top folding card base. And that'll be the end of the card, you guys. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, leave them in the description box below. I'll see you